get into today. Wait, who is that? Wait, that's our ag agent.
Howdy, Tyler.
Hey, how you doing, Kim?
Doing great, doing great.
You want to hop in the truck and go on a farm tour?
Absolutely.
Come on in.
All right.
Welcome to Froberg's farm, Miss Kim.
Thank you so much. I'm honored and honored to be here. I actually come out here every now and then with my husband. We came and picked strawberries.
Oh, well, that means a lot.
Yeah, and we I do remember the very first time we came out here. We came and picked citrus.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it's been a while,
yeah.
like a good 6 or 7 years ago. So that was my very first introduction to the farm, and we loved it.
Oh, that means a lot.
Yeah, come
So,
back ever since.
If your first introduction to the farm was 6 or 7 years ago, are you from Brazoria County then?
I am not from Brazoria County. We've lived here for about 7 years. My husband and I are originally from the Rio Grande Valley, so
Okay.
deep South Texas.
Yeah.
I was born in Brownsville, grew up in the valley. My husband did too, for the most part, and he has been in law enforcement for 35 plus years.
Wow.
Started in the valley, and we've got 2 grown children that are out on their own and doing great things. My son is also in law enforcement. He followed after Dad's footsteps, so he's an officer as well. And
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, so in the valley, lots of onions,
lots of onions, watermelons,
cantaloupes,
citrus, all that
Is
good
that
stuff.
where you gained a love for horticulture, or no?
I think it is. One of my fondest memories of my grandparents, who are no longer with us, is my papa's backyard in McAllen, Texas. He had like 5 or 6 different citrus trees back there. He had grapefruit, oranges, lemons, tangerines, I think. And we always had that fresh fruit. My grandmother would make lemon meringue pie with the lemons that they grew. And this is the weirdest thing as well, because I get a lot of questions about turf grass and St. Augustine and things like that. And I remember as a little girl, my papa's yard being just pristine, green, beautiful, thick, lush St. Augustine, and him going in there and hand picking little weeds. So it just stayed
proud of it.
Perfect. Yeah. So between the turf grass and the citrus, I think it's just something that was innate.
Wow.
And,
So flashing forward, for those people watching at home and listening, if they're not in Texas, they may not know what the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Agency is, or even what just a general extension agent is, because every state has extension.
Absolutely.
And so can you talk a little bit about what AgriLife is, what extension is, and then what you as an extension agent does? And while you do that, we're going to look at this strawberry field that we're getting ready.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned, so we were about to go into extension agencies, and what is extension? And then what does an extension agent actually do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Texas A&M AgriLife Extension is what I like to say is it's a way for us to bring the university to the people. So we offer all kinds of education to the public. So for instance, in my particular area of horticulture, I provide educational outreach for all of Brazoria County. And so we like to joke and say, I teach about everything from trees to turf to tomatoes. That is
the 3 T's.
The 3 T's.
I like that.
That is what makes the extension phone ring and makes my email notifications go off, and which is great. And that's questions from the public. And so not only do I get to, provide fun, educational outreach opportunities, but I get to interact with the public and answer their gardening and turf grass questions.
Love it.
And so it's a really great service for the people of Brazoria County. Some people say that extension is the best kept secret around, but we don't want to keep it a secret.
I was going to say it's unintentional.
No, not
I think
at
it's just
all.
one of those things that people assume it's for farming.
Yes.
And they don't realize that it is a literal public resource that anyone can access.
Absolutely.
And I love extension, not just as a resource for us, but I have a few friends who are extension agents across the state,
Yeah.
and they'll call me and say, hey, we have an agent in Bexar County, and they're trying to raise strawberries, and they were asking this specific question. And so not only is it a resource, in my opinion, to give information to people, but it's also a resource to connect resources.
Absolutely.
Right? Sometimes it's not just about knowing the information, but knowing how to find the information.
Absolutely.
In fact,
Absolutely.
so the question that I got last time from Stephen Yannick was, a guy is about to start planting strawberries, and like he was asking about soil prep. And so I think that's an interesting segment into that's what we're doing on the farm right now.
Yeah.
When a lot of people think of strawberries in Texas, they don't necessarily think the fall, they think the spring.
Exactly.
And so that's a big part of like what we try to inform people on with strawberries is really our strawberry season starts July or June 1st, June 15th, somewhere in there. When the last strawberry season ends, we start mowing plants down, we start pulling plastic, and we start soil prepping. I know there's lots of questions about no-till. We get that question a lot. Reduced tillage, cover crops, all the sustainable pathways, which we believe in. But we always try to tell people too, there's not a cookie cutter answer. It often is situational based. It has to do with your soil type. It has to do with what crop you're raising.
Yes.
And arguably most importantly, it has to do with pest management.
Sure.
We put out a few months ago that we got NEOP this year, which we were devastated about.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
We can't like just harp on how bad it is. We have to harp on that we're pushing forward, and we're going to continue to raise beautiful, delicious strawberries right here in Alvin, Texas, like we have for 128 years. And so one thing that we elected to do this year was not put a cover crop down. Normally in the summer, this would have a cover crop on it. So we elected to not do that, with the understanding that NEOP is not solarized stable, not UV stable, that if the spores are sitting on the surface of the soil and it gets 100 degrees, it's done.
Yep.
And so that's what we've tried to accomplish solarization without having a big sheet of plastic. I wish we had a sheet of clear plastic that could go over the whole thing.
That would be nice.
But we don't have that. And so we just did our best to try to solarize the field. Now it's been the coolest summer that we've had in like,
of course.
It's been hot too,
Yes.
don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But we've had lots of moisture this summer.
Yes.
Cooler, when I say cooler temperatures, we haven't hit 100, which is uncommon for us. But it's still been hot. I would argue that like the soil surface is already starting to warm up.
Yep.
So this is what this is what the strawberry field looks like at the end of August every year.
Yeah,
that we don't have a cover crop on it.
Absolutely. And I love that you are trying to educate the public, whether they're farmers or just backyard gardeners, about growing strawberries and starting early, especially in the fall. And that's what we try and do with Strawberry Jamboree. That's how Strawberry Jamboree all came about, is because we noticed that there was a need for that education, to let people know that the right time to plant strawberries is in the fall, not in the spring.
That's right.
when a lot more of those strawberry plants are available. And so I think it's great that we're both educating the people and getting more and more people to understand that they can grow strawberries in the ground, in their backyard, in containers, whatever the case may be.
That they're probably going to have even more success in the backyard. It's more controlled.
Yes.
Right? We always tell people, like, sometimes growing strawberries is like, the toys that kids play with, and you have the circle hole and the circle block, and you have the star hole and the star. Sometimes raising strawberries is like trying to shove the star block into the circle hole.
Yes, I would agree. Completely agree.
So like in that raised bed environment where it's super controlled, I feel like they could, with the right training, attend the Strawberry Jamboree in Ventura County in October. I feel like they could have a lot of success, and it goes back to planting in the fall.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, those, getting those, and we really like bare root strawberry plants.
100%.
Because that, just gives that plant time to really establish a good root system, kind of get growing over the winter and be ready to produce for you.
Absolutely.
Late winter, early spring in Texas.
Well, the example we always give is like a good rancher, when he buys new breeding stock, he's going to put them in an isolation, or she will put them in an isolation pen,
Yeah.
and make sure that they're not sick and all of that. Well, when you buy plugs, which for those watching and listening, the difference between bare root and plugs is like a fully grown plant, not fully grown, but it's a growing plant with soil around the roots. Bare root is not. When you receive your bare root plants, you think they made a mistake.
What is that?
What is that?
It's kind of strange looking.
But you kind of, there's some pest management issues when we bring the plugs in. They are carrying anything and everything that was at that nursery. And we hope that the nursery's clean. Sometimes it's not their fault, but it just happens.
Yeah.
Versus this plant that's dormant, your pest issue should be a lot further. But when you're planting your strawberries in the fall, I always tell people a good pre-plant dip goes a long ways, even if it's just water. We have like a potion that we use that's got some root stimulator in it. It's got some, we are not certified organic, but we use a hybrid system. So in fact, the pre-plant dip is where a lot of our organics go into play, because that new growing bare root plant, all of those organics are going to be nice and soft on it. And so we create a little concoction there, and every single plant that gets planted gets dipped beforehand and actually goes into the ground wet. We never put a dry plant in the ground. And I feel like, especially in Texas, it goes such a long way.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, our Texas heat is definitely different. It's
terrible.
Like everything else in Texas. It's big.
It's big heat. It's big heat. That's what, I'm going to start using that.
Like that.
It's big heat.
It's big heat.
But this is, I always say strawberry season in June, July, and August is relatively boring, but arguably the most important.
Absolutely.
All of the prep work
absolutely.
is right now.
I completely agree.
Agree. What we'll do in the next 14 days, if we get a big rain, then we'll lay plastic.
Okay.
So we just like building a sandcastle. Our soil is sandy. It's not like the rest of the county that's nice and heavy clay.
Yeah.
We're pretty sandy, and so you can actually see there's moisture under there, which we like to see.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we get a big rain, we'll let it dry out to where we want it to be. That sounds crazy. We want it to be a little muddy. It's like building a sandcastle.
Yeah.
And we want it. We want the soil to have body, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as we get a rain, we're going to hit it.
Absolutely. Very exciting.
So as an extension agent, like what does a regular day in your world look like?
Oh gosh, you know what? I try and to keep to a schedule. It's not always easy to do. So there's always plenty of emails that we have to do. There's definitely some office work and prep work, and thinking ahead of time. I'm a big prep, organized type of person, so I love to be prepared. Yeah. And we offer programs just about all throughout the year. So there's always some type of prep that needs to be done, whether it's putting together a PowerPoint presentation on tomatoes or turf grass or triple T. Yeah. So there's things like that. We also have the people that come into the office and ask questions. They often bring something with them, whether it's
what's wrong with my stick?
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's this huge weed or a branch of their fig tree that is not doing too well. So there's a little bit of ID, a little bit of maybe diagnosis and explanation of what might be going on. And then I always try to follow that up with some type of resource, whether I'm printing out a AgriLife Extension publication for them or giving them a link to our soil testing lab in College Station. So things like that. Every now and then, I get asked to speak different civic clubs and organizations. So I may be speaking one day. And then, of course, our master gardeners do a lot of amazing volunteer work for us, and so I'm working with them almost on a daily basis. And we've got demonstration gardens in Angleton. So we call that BEES. It's Brazoria Environmental Education Station. And so I'm out at BEES.
I love that.
Out at BEES every now and then, checking on things. And we've got an education building out there as well. So it's not all just office work. It's not all out in the field. It's a pretty good mixture of both things, which is nice. It's nice to have a little mix of both. And so that's about what an average day would look like.
I love that.
For an extension agent.
I don't think you can get into the horticulture industry and not love being outside.
Yes.
But then also it'd be nice, like on days like in the summer.
Yeah. When there's big heat.
Yeah, when there's big heat, like, oh, I could answer some emails
yes,
today.
Yes, I could. Yeah, that's not going to bother me at all.
So we stopped here because I like to show stuff full circle, right? From the time we start laying plastic till the time that it's not pretty and we're at the end. And that's the case here. This is watermelons. You can see, here's one of our famous blackjack watermelons. And like this looks good, right? But obviously it's not. So I'm showing that because what we're doing now is, we have our fall festival coming up. And so as much as we want to still be doing what I joke about and say real farming, right? We have to start gearing up for our fall festival. We are at our core an agritourism farm, and that also means that 85% of our revenue comes from agritourism.
Sure.
And so what we did yesterday was we came through and we picked any of them that aren't cracked like that, right?
Yeah.
Put them all in bins. By this time we've had so much rain, they get mealy.
Yeah.
And so we put them in bins, and we'll see them later with our pigs. And the pigs just love them.
I'm sure that's a sweet treat.
Oh yeah. But what we'll do, you can see we mowed the centers. We still got to finish, but we'll mow the centers here, and then we'll go ahead and turn the water off on these vines, and they'll start to. When it rains, the rain doesn't penetrate that plastic.
Right.
And so they'll start to dry out, and then we'll come through and lift the plastic, and then we'll get this ready for mustard greens. I always joke that, Instagram would have everyone believe that fruit fields are like so perfect.
Pristine.
And I'm like, listen, like the end of the season in a watermelon field or a strawberry field, like it's just not great. We want to be done. We got to get out of here, We just can't drag it on any longer.
I hear you. Now, I feel the same way, because if you were to come and see my little research area, my little trial strawberry bed, unfortunately it is full of nutsedge at the moment, so I know exactly
the name
where
of the
you're
game
coming
on
from.
the Texas Gulf Coast.
Yes, I hear you.
All the irrigation's unhooked. But we did do something this year. One of y'all's agents got us into growing thornless blackberries. Now this entire 15 acres was thornless blackberries up until last summer. They were over 10 years old, and they had played out.
Yeah, it's time.
And so we went ahead, pulled them all. We got a lot of data because the master gardeners were coming out and doing yield data and all of that, which a beautiful partnership. We always appreciated that. But we selected one. Drum roll, please. We went with the Primark Freedom for several reasons. One, of course, it's a great blackberry. You get the primocane crop and the spring crop, which we like. But the most important trait of this blackberry was they ripen at the end of April, beginning of May during strawberry season. So for us, it works. If you're a U-pick farm and you're not raising strawberries, maybe this isn't the one. Maybe it's too early. School's not out, so people, they don't. But for us, it is really hard for us to get people out when it's not strawberry season. Yeah. And so we wanted to just do U-pick with the Primark Freedoms, and we love them. They're a good blackberry.
Absolutely, they are. I love those.
So they've only been in the ground for a couple weeks, but happy with them so far.
Good. Yeah, that's a great variety. I'm hearing lots of great things about that variety. So,
do y'all have any perennials at Bees?
Lots of perennials, like in the form of, you just mean fruits or
anything. Y'all, I figured y'all had like trees and stuff planted, but I didn't know if y'all had blackberries or citrus or anything like that.
We actually, in the orchard took a bit of a hit in 2021 with Winter Storm Uri, and so the master gardeners are slowly building that up and replanting and taking care of what did make it. So in that orchard, we've got several varieties of figs. There are some I think there's at least one peach tree, and I think they're continuing to build onto that, and we'll do more as the year goes by.
Sure.
And then of course in some of the smaller demonstration gardens, of course I have my little, it's not a strawberry patch right now, it's the nutsedge nightmare bed, but we do the little strawberry variety trial there. And then of course we have an organic garden where it's kind of like grandma's garden, what she used to grow, organic veggies and things like that, as well as a pollinator garden and native. So lots of perennials all mixed in there. It's a good variety, a good mix of different types of plants to show the public. And it's not just master gardeners out there. Like I said, we love opening it up. We have open garden days where the public can come and take a look at the different demonstration garden beds and see how master gardeners do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So for those watching who might not even know what the Master Gardener program is, tell us about it, who can join it, what's the benefits of joining it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Master Gardener group is a volunteer organization. They receive all of their training through AgriLife Extension. We provide them with 50 hours of education. So we call them interns, and they come and get 50 hours of education with us. And I think giving them a really good foundation of things like, plant growth and development, soil science, soil testing. We do natives, we do how to plant a tree properly and things like that. So they get a really good foundation of horticultural knowledge. Once they get all of those 50 hours, then we provide them with volunteer opportunities. So things like working our fruit and citrus tree sales, our plant sales, working out at the demonstration gardens, and
They would come pick figs here too?
Yes,
they would
absolutely.
Pick figs and blackberries
yes,
here? And
they can definitely do that. So when they get those 50 volunteer hours, then they are officially official, and we certify them as a master gardener. And so with that, once they become certified, they're able to take all of that knowledge and passion for horticulture and share that with the public. And so they also do outreach programs as well. And it kind of just, it comes full circle.
Sure.
They're now going to start teaching the next round of interns that come in. So it's a win-win situation, and it works out for all of us. It benefits all of us. When I need help in a certain at a certain program or event, then I know that I've got phenomenal master gardeners to come and help. And I have to brag on them every time I talk about them, because they really are a dedicated group of individuals that give up their time to help teach. And
well, I love the way you put that it's a kind of full circle. They come back and teach. I think especially today, where I think people want to learn those old skills.
Yes.
And people may not think of growing food or any plant at that matter as an old skill, but it is. I think there's a lot of different skill sets that are probably in the next 50 years or so will just be completely lost because people didn't continue to do it.
I agree. Like grafting trees.
Citrus or pecans or what have you.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely.
Golly. I watched a guy the other day on YouTube. I was doing something and he had a whole piece of rawhide and he broke it down into 1/4-inch strips, and then he made like a lasso out of it. And I was just watching it in amazement. Not that I'm ever going to do that, but the idea that like he's preserved this skill set.
Yeah.
There was no nylon or synthetics in this. It was just a strictly preserved skill set that I feel like that's what the Master Gardeners is doing.
Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you. I appreciate that. They are a great group of people. That is for sure.
So fall's coming up, and one of our biggest fall crops are our seasonal greens. Mustard greens, collard greens, turnips, rutabagas, broccoli, cauliflower, all the stuff that I like to call like good southern greens. And so that's what all of these watermelon fields will be. We rotate our greens with our watermelons. Not great to grow watermelons. Really not great to grow watermelons in the same ground like once every 3 years or 4 years. We, just because of our ground situation, we have to be every other year.
Yeah.
And it's not great. But it's sometimes just what you got to do.
Right, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, is it just this area you feel like that the soil is, like your land here is more sandy than the rest of us that have gumbo?
Yeah, so there's a reason for that. And we're gonna drive over it. You see where the okra is? Backside of that okra is a small corn patch. The south or the west side of that is the original Mustang Bayou. And so for thousands of years, this piece of property would flood with sand. So if you go 3.5 feet down, you hit clay gumbo soil.
Oh.
So
Gotcha.
almost anywhere that hasn't been developed along the bayous should have sandy soil.
Okay.
Now that there are obviously things that can jeopardize that, because it's not 1,000 feet of sand.
Sure.
It's only 3.5 feet of sand. We have to preserve that.
Sure.
And we have to do a really good job at holding the integrity of the soil, which is why, like in some cases, our weed management plans might look a little different. There's some guys in Southern California and gals in Southern California that might have a heart attack seeing like this amount of weed pressure in a watermelon field. But I think it's extremely important for the integrity of our soil.
Sure, absolutely.
Bare soil is like a scab, and the earth will find a way to cover it and preserve it if you just let it. It's not always going to be with what we want, but it will be with something.
Yes, exactly. Yes, my one of my favorite horticulturalists, Skip Richter.
Oh yeah.
He has all these skipisms that I love, and one of his skipisms is wherever sunlight hits the soil, nature plants a weed. So
yep, there you go.
Yep.
I was always surprised by how few certified arborists there actually are.
Yeah, especially in our area. Yeah. It is a shame, because there is a need for it.
I agree.
So boys and girls, if you haven't decided what you want to be when you grow up, that's definitely an option.
And I always joke that like most people in the horticulture industry don't make much money.
No.
We do it because we love it.
Yes.
The green industry is the exception.
Yeah.
Like there are areas where you can fuel your passion for horticulture while sustaining a good living. And arboriculture, turfgrass management, those are both one of those sectors, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. I am surprised how many questions I get about turfgrass and how much it interested me, because I ended up taking a short course at AgriLife Extension in turfgrass, and have become a member of the Texas Turfgrass Association, and now kind of teach people how to mow their grass. And
isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I had a professor at Texas Tech, Joseph Young is his name, and he was our turfgrass professor. And I just remember thinking, I hope that I find something in life to love as much as this guy loves turfgrass. That is my goal.
I'm gonna have to find him.
Yeah. The crop that built Brazoria County.
Absolutely. This is probably one of my favorite areas, because I've met Stephen Yannock out here a handful of times to count figs and help him kind of just assess the health of the figs during his trial. So yeah.
So for those watching, Stephen Yannock selfishly has grown to be an incredible friend of mine.
Yes.
We've, him and I are about the same age, and we've just we call each other brothers in ag. Like, we have just bonded. We share the same passion, and this is essentially his fig trial. He went around and I think him and the other Stephen kind of started it, right?
I think so. That's my
Your
understanding.
predecessor.
Yes, Stephen
And
Brugerhoff.
then we have about 15 varieties of figs here. Some great, some mediocre. All have a place.
Yes.
I always joke that, like, just because it's not right for us doesn't mean it wasn't right for someone.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, they were all developed for a reason. Figs were once a huge crop for us. Figs are still a popular crop, obviously in acres and individual plants, definitely towards the bottom of our list.
Right.
But in terms of priority, it's an important one for us. I like them for several reasons. First and foremost, the historical value
Yes.
of them. Figs built Brazoria County. And I think a lot of people forget that part of our history. They think of dairy, they think of beef, they think of rice. They somehow have lost the fig. And it was one of those crops that heavy soil, sandy soil, didn't matter. They grew them everywhere. And they were easily maintained with mules and buggies and stuff too, which was really cool. But for us, right now it's kind of a void in our labor needs. And so for my crews, picking figs every day, figs and okra. Every day. It's a really good space filler. We make fig pies, we make fig fried pies, we make fig preserves, we sell figs fresh. Like, we use them every which way that we can.
I love that. I love that you have kept this area and want to continue using it. We're trying to bring back figs a little bit as well through our Figtoberfest.
Yes.
It's very similar
Coming
to
up.
Strawberry Jamboree.
And it's in October.
Yes, October 4th. At Lakeside Park in Angleton, and it's fun, it's educational. We'll have a couple speakers.
One of my dear friends, Destin.
Yes.
He'll be there,
Yes,
Texas Garden
Guy.
So, question. So, you chose Strawberry Jamboree's date for a very specific reason. Why October 4th for Figtoberfest?
You know, they just happened to fall on that date, and you know, through working with Destin and Phil DeAngelis with Phil's Figs, they loved the name Figtoberfest, and we thought, you know, October would be a great time to do that and teach people more about figs, and so it just happened to fall that way this year, and so we're excited about it. It's a lot of prep on things like this, as you know, but you know, back to back programs, but it's all worth it.
It's all worth it.
Definitely.
We will see it in a little bit, but we actually just planted our goal is to get 800 more trees. We've planted about 300 more of them at the Christmas tree farm. But that one's not quite ready, but it's almost ready. They're good enough to eat.
Stephen and I may have eaten our body weight in figs. No, I'm kidding.
Figs is one of those interesting things that, do they taste the best when they're like custard and like almost melting off the plant? Sure. But they're still pretty good, not quite. And we always say we pick ours at about 80% right. From here to the store, at 100 degrees is not great for hauling figs. No. And we don't have like a refrigerator trailer or anything. So for us, it's beneficial. Plus, if they're going through today and picking, and they don't pick everything that's 80%, we only pick every other day. By the time we get to Wednesday, if it rains, we're done. Yeah. And so that 80% rule for us is worked, especially when we process most of ours. Sure. It's worked out really well.
Good.
But we are excited about the new fig orchard.
I am too. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an idea of thinking about what type of varieties you want?
So we've already planted the brown turkey, which we have a brown turkey that we've gone back and forth with several people. Like, it's not a regular brown turkey. There's no way. And so we've joked and we've started calling it the Froberg fig because we don't truthfully know like what it is for sure.
Right.
But it's a heavy producer and it produces huge brown figs. And so we're pumped about that. And then we have the LSU Gold, which is our second favorite. And we just haven't got to plant them yet, but we have a bunch of Carolina Lemon propagated, which is another one that we found and then the LSU Tiger is our fourth favorite. And seems to be a pretty good fig. The LSU varieties have proven really successful for us. They seem to do really well. The varieties here I'd have to look back on the chart to see what they are, but not on our future planting list.
Right.
These are the LSU varieties right here. So we actually prune those to the ground every year. So that is only this year's growth.
Okay. Wow.
So they start popping out under that mulch at like the end of February. And so that is just the growth since February.
Wow. Very cool.
And so then one of my passion projects is this right here. For small farmsteads, one of the things that I think is the key to success are small perennial productions. And so little orchards, of course, diversify. We want as much diversity as possible. And so this is a a 2-month-old asparagus bed. In fact, Destin brought me the crowns.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sure did. He's like, man, a company sent me these and I don't have a great spot for them. Do you want them? And I was like, we will find a spot for them.
That is very cool.
And so, like, my goal is to essentially have like asparagus days. Like, all right, guys, it's Saturday. You know, it would probably end up being March or April in 2028.
Yes.
Okay. But like, you got to start somewhere. Hey, it's Saturday, March of 2028. We have, 100 bunches of asparagus. Come and get it, and everybody just get pumped about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those vegetables that I think somehow gets missed, except in fine dining, and it's super easy to cook. It's like, why,
Yeah. This might be a new one for you. I've just kind of recently got into learning about mushrooms and growing mushrooms.
I don't know anything about mushrooms.
I'm still learning,
Yeah.
but I did just a quick little lesson for the master gardeners a couple weeks ago, and there's all kinds of ways that you can grow mushrooms. Like, even you can grow mushrooms on a log or out of a grow kit, or have like the inoculated spawn in with your beds here. It's kind of a neat thing that I've been learning more about, and I would think that backyard gardeners or homesteaders could get into that as well. So there's always very interesting things in horticulture.
And I always hear people talk about mushrooms. Just never. So you could tell we get our wood chips from the tree companies on the right-of-ways.
That's all
We
right.
find all sorts of stuff. So we're about the tail end of our summer greenhouse tomatoes. And then we have another little fig orchard over there, which does pretty good. I think the problem that we have with that fig orchard is when the bayou floods, it actually comes up right there. And some of them stay wetter longer than we probably should have them stay wet.
Yeah.
But this little orchard's always done pretty good for us.
Yep, this is a nice one. So you've probably been asked this question before, and I'm changing the subject, but do you have any plans to do any more citrus, maybe in
That's
containers?
a great question. Yes, where we're going, where the new fig orchard is, I left row breaks between classes. And so when a new variety of figs start, I left an empty row. One of those rows will be filled up with grapefruit. One of those rows will be filled up with satsumas. And then we have some pears and stuff.
Yeah.
So the short answer is yes. But the more long, complex answer is not at any type of scale, just 20 to 30 trees a piece.
Sure.
Just enough to fill our store.
Perfect.
I mean, we used to have hundreds.
Yeah.
And, we shipped satsumas. We actually had all the conveyors to clean and process them and sort them and do all. No, but I think, as we go today, everything grown here on the farm leaves in a consumer's vehicle. Nothing leaves on an 18-wheeler. Nothing leaves in bulk. It all leaves in a consumer's vehicle. And so I think 20 satsuma trees, 25-year-old satsuma trees can produce everything that we could sell.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense.
And lower risk, lower reward, but also lower risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
We won't have all this money and resources tied up when another freeze comes, because look at the last 5 years.
It's tough.
It's probably going to snow again this winter. Like, I'm convinced.
You know.
And so
yeah, I hear you.
So of course I joke about the snow, but like, in all seriousness, like, I've seen more snow here in the last 5 years than I did, or in the last 4 years than I did in my 4 years when I was stationed in Seattle. Like, it's crazy.
We got big weather in Texas.
Big weather. And so I would say this is pretty stereotypical looking okra for this time of year.
Beautiful.
Right? We start to see, especially as our resources get dedicated elsewhere, we start to see this like long stemming action. It's getting hotter.
Yep.
Picking it. What we'll actually do is, probably starting next week, I'll come and I'll chop this whole row down and let it start to come back, and then give it like a week or two, and then I'll chop this row down and give it a week or two, and then I'll chop. And we find that those younger shoots produce a higher quality fruit. And so, but you can't restart the field all at one time, or then you don't have any more okra.
Yeah.
But
there goes your supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You can't get more farm to table than, figs, coming off the
That's right.
off the tree and going straight to the store.
Trying to train people though, it's obvious. So let me step back. One of our biggest hurdles is teaching our customers that we're a community grocery store that happens to be on a farm, and that we are lucky because we can complement our community grocery store with some of our homegrown produce. So oftentimes we'll get comments like, well, the apples have stickers on them, like they can't be grown here. Well, they're not grown here. We don't pretend that they're grown here. Up until last year, the HEB in Manville there wasn't a grocery store in Manville. We were it. And so we start talking about food injustice and food security and food deserts. Just because this isn't a metropolitan area food deserts exist just as much in rural communities as they do in urban communities. And so explaining to people that we are a community grocery store that happens to be on a farm, and we can complement that by having seasonal produce. Keyword seasonal.
Exactly. Yes.
We are limited as to when, just because we can grow 365 days a year doesn't mean we can grow the same things
exactly
365 days a year.
Yeah, I think we're both in the education business.
You more formally than I, but I appreciate that.
Yes. But I think it is important, even in some of our more youth-driven education and curriculum, we're finding out that some kids don't know where their food comes from. They just think that automatically shows up at HEB or Walmart or wherever the case may be. And so not only teaching the kids how to eat healthy and where their food comes from, but sometimes we need to reach the parents as well, where they're sourcing their food from, and that they can definitely come to a place that is not your normal box store.
Yep. So healthy eating education starts with the parents. It starts at home.
Absolutely.
Like in every form. We have lots of like school lunch reform and stuff, and I think that's great. But if our kids aren't already used to eating that stuff, then they're just going to talk about how terrible the school lunches are, and we want them to enjoy school lunches.
Absolutely.
But we want those school lunches to be this, but it's got to start at home. And the AgriLife has programs like that, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
It's not just agriculture and rural health. It's like it's people.
Yes, absolutely. People. We've got two phenomenal family and community health agents in our office who teach about eating well when you have diabetes and how important physical movement is, and they do the Walk Across Texas campaign. So definitely AgriLife reaches not just farmers and ranchers and the backyard gardener, but people that want to eat well and take care of themselves. We have a coastal marine agent who works with Sea Grant and does everything with water. Yeah, the coastal marine agent does amazing things with water testing, recycling fishing lines, anything that has to do with the coast. And then we also have a BLT, which stands for Better Living for Texans associate, and so she teaches people who are SNAP fund eligible how to eat well and how to read the nutrition labels and things like that. So we again, it's like I said, like bringing the university to the people, and for those that can't get that information, we're able to bring it to them in a fun and interactive way. I think more than just doing lectures. I really enjoy doing hands-on things with people, and getting their hands dirty and teaching them how to garden and pull weeds and
you mentioned
stuff.
Walk Across Texas. I don't know what that is. What is that?
Good. Walk Across Texas is a program through Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, and basically you get your coworkers or a group of about 8 to 10 people together, and during a certain time period, I think it's 6 weeks or so, you all log as many miles as you can, and that can be walking, biking, swimming, any type of physical activity. I think they even have a conversion chart, like if you wanted to jump rope. They've got a conversion chart for you to calculate that. And so you track all of your miles, and at the end of the time period, the group with the most miles kind of, wins a prize. Everybody gets a
I think
T-shirt.
we should have a Froberg's farm team.
I think you should. Absolutely. I bet y'all get your steps in every day. That's for sure.
So
That's for sure.
this is something a little different. This is a small field. This is, I guess, about 2 acres.
Okay.
And it is all heirloom corn. So we have
nice.
Bloody Butcher corn. We have Rainbow Jim. I have about 5 different varieties of different heirloom corn. And it's a little different too because we're dryland farming it. No irrigation ran on it. And so the farming techniques look a little differently.
Yeah.
We put the corn itself on these big tall beds, which is not typical. If you look at like the corn maze, they're on it's on the flat. But we're able to store and compact moisture into this ground. Now, the corn grows slower, but you're able to do it dry land, and it's interesting. But you could tell, I laughed about this, and with heirloom corn, right? Obviously with hybrid corn, all your kernels are the same size. It'll run through whatever seed plate you got. Well, these are all different varieties, all different sizes of seed. And so you could tell, like this, it didn't want to run through the planter very well. You got little clumps versus some of them are like perfect. And it's that same pattern all the way down.
Tyler, I think you're the only one that's gonna notice that.
I'm my own worst critic.
Yes.
But one of the things that I think is interesting because we get lots of questions, why don't you raise this? Why don't you raise that? Why don't you raise this? Why don't you raise that? And there is a reason, right? I think a good farm like ours, what I would call a small family farm, diversification is key. And even in the varieties that you grow, diversifying is key. It would have been hard to plant more than this just because of the inconsistencies and the gaps. And so when we start talking about hybrids and heirlooms and all there is value in both.
Sure.
Right? When we start talking about the heirlooms, of course we get flavor, we get colors,
yes.
right? What we don't get is consistency.
Right.
Versus with the hybrids, we get disease and pest resistance, or diseases are pests. We get pest resistance, we get consistencies. So there's so much strength in both. And I think, like I said, I think a good family farm like ours has diversified. They've diversified in the varieties.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think is this something that you're going to sell in the store?
We will, yep.
And so I think it's just another great educational opportunity to show people that, not all corn is yellow and has the same, just more education. So I think that's great. And it also, I know that you've seen this and dealt with, not every single tomato coming out of your tomato greenhouse is perfully red and round and blemish free.
That's right.
I think it's important for people to see that as
Absolutely.
well. Some of those, we all know that homegrown tomatoes taste the best.
Oh yeah.
They don't all look the best.
Nope.
And that's important for people to know that not everything is going to be
this year
shiny and
absolutely. We raised heirloom tomatoes this year for our store, and that was an interesting thing. They're, well, why does this tomato look that way? I'm like,
why
look,
is it purple?
once you bite into it, it ain't gonna matter how
yes,
it looks.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
so what we'll actually do here is, yes, we'll harvest the corn and sell it like a dried fall ear, for decoration and stuff. But we'll also harvest the stalks. There is a huge demand for stalks during the fall season
For decoration.
And what we found is that if we don't have them for sale, then what people will actually do is cut the barrier in the corn maze and cut them out and take them. And we're like, okay, let's make it a formal program. You don't have to steal them. We will have them.
You definitely know there's some demand for that.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll supply it for you. I get it.
I think one of the coolest parts, and I say this because oftentimes we will get different cultures from islands that want the corn stalks for different things. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about being a direct-to-consumer farmer is the one thing that we as people all have in common, no matter where you're from, what you do for a living, where your parents or grandparents are from, no matter what it is, we all eat. And we all eat food. And oftentimes we see in different cultures that in some cases it's the same food just prepared differently.
Yep.
And so I think it's one of my favorite parts, because my wife and I both try to spend at least an hour a day in the store, our farm store, just saying hello to people.
Yeah.
Right. And my wife and I learn something every day, whether it be how someone cooks this or how someone eats that, or whatever it is. It's just one of my favorite parts. I love it.
Yes, how grandma used to do it,
Oh
their favorite
yes.
way of eating it. Yes. Very cool.
We started mulching figs 2 years ago. You actually see we just replaced some missing ones. And we feel like the trees perform better that way. I mean, duh, right? Of course they do. But, I think that is something that we don't often see in any type of scaled agriculture, or these mulch beds. And I think with right-of-way management, depending on your area, I think it's possible to do. And I think it pays off.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm feeling that big heat.
Oh, yeah. Big heat's creeping in. And so, for the most part, only this side would flood when it would bend. And so most of the sand is on this side. There's a little bit more clay along our road here. Stays wet longer.
Yeah.
It doesn't dry out. This might as well be, it is dusty.
Yeah.
And if we go when we cross the bayou, there's going to be mud puddles over there.
Yep. So how many employees do you have here, Tyler?
Great question. You obviously can't do all this without helping hands. And so about 35 full-time employees, and then seasonal, we can get up to about 60 to 65.
Wow.
We employ a ton of high school students, which we like because, oftentimes, like as we're getting ready for the fall festival in the summer, we have a whole bunch of work.
Sure.
And then when it's just like some of the farming stuff, it's like, I just need you in the afternoon.
Right.
We're going to pick all day. I need you to sort them in the week. So it really works out perfectly. It would be hard to employ 60 people and constantly give them stuff to do. But having 60, part-time, or I guess it would be 30 part-time and then 30 full-time is about what it comes out to be.
Yeah.
Now that includes our, my farm staff, bakery staff, cashiers,
Right.
all the things, nightly cleaning crews.
That's a big staff.
It's,
Takes a village.
it does. I think sometimes calling yourself a small business or a large business or what have you is relative, right?
Yeah.
I always say that like our county, with a county that's got BASF and Dow and INEOS and all of the services that supply them, like having a full-time staff of 30 is nothing. But if you then go and compare us to like all the little family-owned business in the Perennial Town Center, well, yeah, maybe we are a little bit bigger. And it's just it's apples to oranges. It's it's definitely a relative answer. Here's what when we start talking about that, when people say, well, how many people do you employ? In other words, like, how big of a benefit are you to the county?
Right.
I always say it's not. The number of people we employ isn't as important as the number of people that our farm brings to Brazoria County. And because that's true tax revenue.
Sure.
Whether it be from hot taxes and hotels or fuel, right? Obviously, our local governments create a ton of revenue from fuel. Local restaurants that they stop and eat at, we always try to, people ask us every day, where do we go eat after this? And, we give them our hot spots.
Yes.
And so that's what, we like to say, yes, is employment a big benefit to our county? Of course. But we think the bigger benefit is the people who come, they bring their tax dollars from wherever they live, and they come and they spend it here in our county. And that is true stimulation.
Absolutely, I agree. And then what I also love is your social media and your networking that reaches even more people, and you partnering with local businesses. Like I've seen, the 1820 coffee shop, and maybe somebody has always just come to Froberg's to pick fruit, and was always looking for a great coffee shop. Well, now they have something. So I think all that networking and working together with other small businesses is beneficial as well as partnering with your local county extension agent.
That's right. Yeah, whenever we'll go give talks sometimes, especially with agritourism. And I always have a spiel, and I say that before you do anything, what you need to go do is you need to find whatever government agencies are around you, whether it be city, county, both, or whoever they are, and just mention it and see what they say. Especially if you haven't bought the property yet, or if you're deciding what you're going to do with it, because immediately, if you don't have buy-in from your local municipalities, it's just going to make it harder.
Sure.
If they get excited about it, game on.
Absolutely. Go for it.
After that, it's put in a 10-acre parking lot, because if you don't have the parking, they're not going to come.
Exactly.
And then from there, again, going and checking in with your local businesses, and hey, 1820 Coffee House, I could do a whole 1-hour video on all the things we partner on.
Yes.
From the owners of that. They do all of our food service at the farm besides the bakery.
Oh.
So the grilled cheese restaurant, the snow cones, that's the same owners.
Gotcha. Okay.
They have a marketing company as well. They help us with our signs and banners and all of that. And what we love about that is, we could go outside of our town, we could go outside of our county for those services, but we don't. Even if it's more expensive, I think it's important to remember that, if you spend those dollars local, they're going to stay local.
Yes.
They're going to pay their property taxes with your money. And that's important, because then our county can make improvements. They might even come, if you do a really good job, they might even come and spend the money that you gave them at your shop.
Exactly.
Which is like best case scenario,
Absolutely.
So this is some of our cane hay. Now, last year we were already on our 3rd cutting by now, but we've gotten rain once a week.
Yes.
And so we always say with the cane hay, we have to, and you can actually tell, the bindweed and all of that is starting to take over, and that's what happens when a hayfield sits. You want to cut it, get all that stuff out of there, and we just haven't gotten the opportunity to. Like I said, last year we had cut this 3 times already, and we haven't cut it a single time this year. We need 7 days of 0%.
Yes.
And that hadn't happened.
That's probably where the saying "make hay while the sun shines."
That's exactly right.
Probably where that came from.
And so a lot of people ask me, well, what the heck do you know about hay? And the answer is not a thing. But here's what I know is that during the drought a couple of years ago, we buy hay for the festivals to decorate and paint and all that. And for rice stubble, we paid nearly $80 a bale. And I said,
Yikes.
I bet I could raise it for that. And so we figured out with this cane hay, we'd kind of get the most bang for our buck. We can raise it, I'm going to say for about $35 to $40, we can raise it. And I mean, that's half the cost.
Yeah.
And what I said too is, when I was buying that rice stubble, there was probably someone who had cattle who needed it more than I did. I was painting it. I was building stuff out of it. And I would rather not take away from the big hay supply and us just raise our own. Quality doesn't matter for us.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
We need quantity.
That makes sense. Yeah. Absolutely. We've got to be a farmer and a businessman in this job. Well, I don't want to jinx you, but I haven't seen 4-wheel drive. So.
More cane hay. So this little farm is about 60 acres. And this year, sometimes we would raise peas on it, but this year we put it at 100% cane hay. We plan on building a lot of stuff. Now, I was hoping to get more than 1 cutting, but it looks like this year, when we eventually cut it, it'll probably just be 1 cutting.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my gardeners. Sometimes things don't work out the way you wanted. Not every leaf on your plant is going to be perfectly green.
No, it is not.
You're going to have some yellowing. You're going to have some leaf spots.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. That's how you learn.
That's right.
Yep.
And I mean, I can tell you that there has been times where sometimes I just disc it under and start over. It just is, and there's no explanation for it. Could have been the seed, could have been the day you planted. Who knows?
Just wasn't meant to be.
Just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is move on. My grandpa and uncle both used to say, just hook the disc up and don't look back. Just drive forward.
Yes.
When something like that happens,
See there, we don't just have Skipisms. We're going to have Frobergisms.
That's right.
As well.
I'm gonna undo all this real quick.
Okay.
Give me just a second. Favorite part.
Oh.
Don't know that it'll be your favorite part.
I have never been to this part.
But this is normally everyone's favorite part. It is everything with a heartbeat.
Oh, yes, I have not been out this way. And this is all fairly new, like recent, like in the past year or so?
Last 2.5 years or so. When we were approached to take over this lease, it had never been touched. And so when I say never been touched, I mean it was the epitome of a raw Gulf Coast, like Gulf Coast pasture marshland. You know, it was wavy, low spots everywhere, wouldn't drain, of course. Still doesn't drain great, but so what we did, we're gonna do a lot of walking, y'all. That's all right.
That's fine.
I joked in the truck, this is most people's favorite stop, because this is everything with a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
So I'll go through the spiel, if you will.
Please. Yes.
Everything, all the critters we raise are all raised rotationally grazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now we take it a step further. They're not just rotationally grazed, they're hyper rotationally grazed, which means we have quite a few animals in small areas and we move them every 2 to 3 days. And I always say it's 3 days, no exceptions. There's always exceptions. But if it's too wet or something, but 3 days is the magic number. And so, if you can actually see the progression. This is where they were 3 days ago. This is where they were a week ago. And so what we see, we have an immense amount of organic matter left on the soil surface. And then we don't graze the dirt. There's lots of different theories on grazing, especially this type of grazing. And one of them is you graze the dirt, one of them is you graze the stubble, one of them is you graze to 6 inches, all of these different theories. We say 3 days.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily a vegetation height that we're going after. We're not that dialed in yet. Mm-hmm. We will eventually. This fence is not hot.
Okay.
We will get to that point eventually. But you can see the organic matter left on the soil surface here. This specific flock right here is what I call a dual action flock. And so we have goats and sheep in here, specifically Nubian goats. They're all castrated males from dairy. And those, not a ton of market value there. They're mainly here to eat everything that the dorpers don't, right? Those dorpers, I call them like little meat tanks. Mm-hmm. They're just highly productive meat sheep. But they don't necessarily forage a lot. They're grazers, right? The goats are definitely the foragers. So funny little situation here. That's not on. Right, so people always say, how do you not have animals get out? Because when we go to the pigs, it'll blow your mind. We train them. We have an isolation pen that we've perfected training these animals. So this isn't even on. and
they don't know.
They don't have a clue. And so this will get moved today. And you can see in areas where there wasn't a ton of Bermuda, they've ate because the stuff was taller and shady. In areas where there is Bermuda, it's just kind of ate through,
right.
But there's still food. We've kind of calculated our forage load, and we figured out that we could probably do about 10 more head in this paddock with this specific group. Mm-hmm. And at 3 days, like a lot of that grass would be almost down.
Sure.
And then you can see what we're moving into. That's what this looked like.
Wow.
3 days ago.
Huge difference.
And so don't get me wrong, the goats are good, but these dorpers here are the eating machines. Right, guys?
Good job, boys. You taking a break in the shade?
Yes. And so that's why we developed this. This is what we call, I don't know. We actually don't call it anything, but I'm gonna make something up. This is what we call the Froberg Shade Machine 5000. Mm-hmm. And so we understand that critters are tough, but we are also suckers because we're fruit and vegetable farmers.
Yes.
And so we're like, why make them uncomfortable if they don't have to be?
Absolutely.
And so we also needed a way to move water. Mm-hmm. And so all of our farms that have animals have hose bibs every 100 foot with air hose connections. And so this is hooked up, and then this is on skids, and we just drag it with this chain. So we have mobile shade and water all in one. Plus, goats climb. They want to climb on something. And then lots of forage. You can see what they're moving into is pretty thick.
Yes.
But
And you don't, and that's, I guess that's not daunting to them, huh? They just go right
into
after it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when we first got the Dorpers, they were a little shocked by it. They had come from the hill country.
Oh.
And they were like, well, and we definitely watched on like overeating disease, bloating. We were careful for that, just to observe. But I mean, they went right into it and just got after it.
Good. Yeah, I could see how you might get, 10 more.
10 more when you see that.
Yes.
When you look at this, but this looked like that
Yes.
3 days ago. So when you look at this, you think that there's no more room, but there is. We would like that Bermuda grazed a little more heavily. The chickens don't like this. They like the Bermuda. And so it's about it being a full complementary. I always tell my wife, I'm like, I know I sound like a crazy person, but I promise it's a full system. Like it's a full system. You could tell which ones were bottle fed and which ones were not.
Yes. Oh. Now, is there a naming process? Do you name any of these, or you just
2414.
Okay, gotcha.
One of my sons calls this one little cutie or something like
Oh.
that, but other than that, no. We tend to not name. I guess the dogs have names.
Yes.
We don't have pets. We have livestock guardian dogs here, and then my son has 2 horses, and those have names.
Sure.
Other than that, nothing else has a name.
No.
But you can see under this shade, it's
not bad.
It's pretty
Not bad.
comfortable, especially considering these are all heat tolerant critters.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite. Everyone loves the bottle fed babies.
Oh yes.
And it's been a good resource for us too at the main farm. We're able to take some of these friendlier animals on event days and take them up there.
So when is your fall festival? When is that coming up?
September 20th is kickoff day. We're actually adding a week on both ends this year. We think.
Because you don't have enough to do already.
I know. I'm not thrilled about the week early.
Yeah.
Obviously it's hot here, and we want everything to have time to bloom and grow and all of that. But the week later, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And so remind me, you'll have like the corn maze.
pumpkin patch, the flower picking, sunflowers and zinnias,
Sunflowers.
pig races.
Oh,
Yeah.
very fun.
All the photo ops, the sandbox, all the fun farm stuff,
Yeah.
the tractor rides. So a lot of people have asked me, like, why sheep? There's other ways to manage the vegetation, right? Of course, we could have gotten cows, but I always say, I don't like going into a project and not being fully prepared. And we just don't have the infrastructure for that. We need bigger trailers. We need a chute system. We need all these things, right? And so, not saying never, but not now. And then I worked at a sheep farm before, and a lot of people don't know that. When I was in the Army, there was a sheep farm up there that I worked at in Washington State.
Very cool.
So we trained border collies. We used dogs to work everything, and it was about 100 head, all wool sheep. And I grew a passion for it, and it's like my secret passion. It's like the thing that nobody knows about, nobody expects, but it's something that I really love. And I think they're a really good complement to our system. Whether we sell meat or not, I think the service that they're providing, I could be out here mowing it with a tractor, and all that does is cost money, and it burns fossil fuels and all of these things that we will do if we have to, but we'd rather not.
Sure.
This is restoring carbon and using the vegetation for a purpose. We have all the vegetation because of the chickens.
Right.
And so, you have all this rich vegetation. Let's use it for something.
Absolutely.
And they do taste really good. there's that part too.
That's funny.
Let's go see some chickens.
And you know that at least the only one that I'm aware of in Brazoria County is Clute, city of Clute. Did you see that a couple months ago? They brought in that ruminant company to
graze?
To graze.
I did not know that.
Yes, get rid of some. Hey, buddy, get rid of some weeds and.
It has been something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I've wanted to start like a side business grazing, and maybe in the future.
Yeah.
I think contract grazing is important for several reasons. first and foremost, you knew that the city hired him because it was news.
Yes.
People love it.
Yes.
And
It's cool to look at.
I think good publicity is just that. It's good, you know. It makes people feel good. And whether or not something is the most effective, what have you, sometimes is irrelevant if everybody feels really good about it.
Yes.
But I think it's also important to look at it that it is really good. And it is a good solution, especially if it's an area that doesn't have to be groomed. You know, like it's, I don't know. I just think it's,
by tractors
Yep.
and all that, and it's saving the city money. That therefore it's saving the taxpayers
Absolutely.
money as well. And just once again, it's educational because not everybody has seen goats come in and graze an area.
So at the Nature Center in Pearland, there's islands out in the retention ponds. So it's BDD 4, Brazoria Drainage District 4, that actually built that pond and then gave it to the city. And so when I was there, the city manager would have these like monthly brainstorming meetings. And so there we are one month, and I was like, okay, just hear me out. Okay. I get 15 goats, and we move them from island to island on John boats. And we graze the islands like that. At the time, they were like being taken over by tallow trees and all this. And it could be a really healthy ecosystem if we made it that way. And people will talk about it all over the country.
Yes.
This city moving goats unfortunately it didn't happen.
Oh,
but
man.
but God, that was probably 10 years ago. And I was just like, we should do this.
You're ahead
it's
of the
gonna
time.
be so cool.
You're ahead of the times.
These are my son's sheep. These are Gulf Coast sheep. This is actually the first time they've been seen on a farm tour. They just got here.
Wow.
These are a landrace breed. So some really boring history information here. So, and it's kind of funny because how they look right now is how I imagine English settlers seeing them for the first time. So, 1492, obviously Spanish explorers started coming over. There's obviously already lots of people here or whatnot. But nonetheless, the Spanish settlers brought sheep with them, lots of them. Eventually, the Spanish settlements either started just joining the Native American tribes or like abandoned ship, basically, right? And they turned their sheep out. And so everywhere where they did this, only the strongest survived. And if any of the sheep did survive, they created these little microflocks. Along the Texas coast, Louisiana, all the way down to Florida, there were these sheep living wild. And when the English settlers got here, they saw them, and not realizing that they weren't native, they called them Gulf Coast native sheep, thinking that they had been here for all that. They had not. They had only been a couple hundred years, but that's enough time to weed out all the weak ones.
Sure.
They started capturing them, and they realized that it was the only wool sheep that they had ever seen that could survive the heat, that their feet didn't rot in the warm or the wet weather, that they no parasite loads, all of these things because they just natural selection took course quickly.
Yeah.
And what you got was this kind of skinnier wool sheep, doesn't grow wool on the belly or legs so that they can effectively cool themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of a flightier sheep, extremely hardy. And my son really wanted to get in the wool business. And so he found this breed. He was like, there has to be a way. So we got on the Livestock Conservancy. I don't know if you're familiar with the Livestock Conservancy. They work in preserving these older breeds. And this came up on the list, and we found some, and here we are. Crazy.
Very cool. Looks like you've got a little Froberg entrepreneur in the making.
Little Farmer Froberg is a hoot and a half. He's a character in himself. This is Bailey and Snowball.
Oh, yes, I think I've already made friends.
We had never had a livestock guardian dog, and I had a friend in San Antonio, and her husband have a little homestead, and they had a litter of pups, and I said, okay, we'll try one. We had just started here at the chicken farm, and so we got her, kept her at the main farm for a couple months, just kind of, hey, we're good.
Keep an eye on
Don't trust nobody else. And then moved her out here. And the lesson that I was taught was, you don't know that she could do something naughty to a chicken until you know.
Right.
And ultimately, the area that you want her to protect is in between this fence and that fence.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for her to be in there.
Right.
And so we elected to have the guardian dogs outside of the paddocks, inside the perimeter fence, and they have been amazing. Knock on wood, we have lost zero, not just chickens, but any animals to any type of predator.
Good job.
So Bailey and Snowball. Snowball came during that hurricane last summer.
Oh.
She showed up as a wild dog. We called animal control. They came out, they tried to catch her, they couldn't. They said, hey, like, if you could set up an area where you could start putting hot dogs or something in there to try to trap her, once you trap her, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got her trapped. We then posted pictures of her because we thought, this has got to be somebody's dog.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything. And so we were like, she's a grown dog. Like, I just don't, I don't know what her path would be with animal control.
Yeah.
And if she's a good livestock guardian dog, we kind of assumed that that's what she came from because she was just real leery around people, you know? And so we brought her out here, and I mean, the rest is history. She is almost better than her because she doesn't pester you. Like, she's great for dog people, but when we bring non-dog people out here, they're like, I really want the dog away from me.
Oh.
But she's perfect. She's like, nope, I'm just checking you out.
Yeah. I mean, they almost look like they could be, siblings.
Oh, I know. Identical. And then that's Shadow.
Oh.
I mainly mess with Tank, the other one. Tank is at the trainer right now where my son takes lessons.
Gotcha.
Right.
What's going on, Shadow?
Shadow's an old ranch horse. He's blind in one eye.
Oh.
But he just ride around the farm, you know. So this is what it looks like before critters get it.
Yep.
Luscious, I mean, as good as it gets in terms of pasture. This is what we like to see
Good stuff.
on the Gulf Coast for forage. I do always like to point out that it's diversified. It's not just Bermuda grass. And there's some guys who love that. There's some people who don't. But for us, it's fine, We do a cover crop in the winter. We come in with a mix of rye, oats, barley, mustard, seeded everywhere. And the chickens just love it.
Gourmet food.
Oh, yeah. So currently there's 3 flocks of laying hens and then our broiler house there, our movable broiler house. So just like everything else with a heartbeat, moved every 3 days.
Wow.
And just like everything else with a heartbeat here on the farm, everything they need moves with them.
Yep.
Water, food, nest boxes, everything.
A mobile home.
A mobile home, literally. So this is our newest flock. They're only about 7 months old. They've just started laying. Much needed production. We sell a lot of eggs at the farm.
Yeah, there's definitely a demand for those.
So you'll like this. All of the trailers are old farm trailers, but this one and that one specifically are strawberry packing trailers.
Oh, very cool.
When our strawberries used to get sold to HEB, what you would do is you would put a pallet with clamshells on the back side, and then the pickers would come and deliver them through that window, and then you'd have packers in there, and they pack the pallet, and then a forklift could take it off. We don't do that anymore, so now it's an egg wagon.
Yeah, you got to use what you have on the farm.
Got to use what we have. And then
I
our
love it.
guardian geese and alarm guineas always crowd.
Now that's something that I haven't heard of, guardian geese.
Really? Yeah, so they are so mean. It's unbelievable, and intentionally. And then the guineas are just loud.
Yeah.
And so everyone always asks how we protect from sky predators. It's those guys. I think there's several things. A, they see a goose and they're like, that thing's huge. What is that? And then they're just loud and obnoxious. Well, normally if you get up here, they're, hey.
Knock that off.
And so everyone always asks too, hey, you got water leaks. We don't put Teflon on anything where the animals are. Everything loves that.
Yeah.
The geese love it, the guineas love it, the chickens love it. But they're just living their best life.
It looks like it. And so you get eggs every day, I would imagine.
We hand collect eggs
Yeah.
every day. You see they're laying now in there. These are rollaway nest boxes, and so let's go in there. Let me turn
Okay.
the power off. There's some eggs. Should be more revealing than that. What's going on, guys? Y'all haven't started yet? So sometimes they will get hung up on each other and they'll get a little poop on them, but most of the time they should roll down immediately, and it keeps them nice and clean. Less work once you get up there.
Yep.
We do have some green egg layers as well.
That's good.
The goal in everything we do is to try to make it easier. Oftentimes people say, like, why raise them on pasture? And so obviously there's the philanthropic part, or the philosophical part of it, of like, it's an animal, it should be outside, right? But when we talk about feeding the world, that could be debatable, and I'm not going to argue with that. This is a much less financial investment than putting up a chicken house.
Yep.
And so when we start talking about why, I think that's a major reason why. Anyone could get into egg production by doing it this way. All you need is like $1,200, and you could get going in the pasture-raised egg business, which is a huge benefit.
Yes. Good job, ladies.
Yeah.
Good job.
So why Brazoria County?
You know what? I followed my husband here. He had like I said, he worked in law enforcement in the valley for, 25-ish years or so, and had an opportunity for a chief of police job in Richwood, actually.
Oh wow, yeah, I love
so,
Richwood.
Followed him. Wives usually go where their husbands go. Followed him up here to Brazoria County, and the rest is history. But yeah, he's the chief of police in Richwood for I think going on 7 years.
Wow.
Now. Much quieter over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Broilers aren't noisy. Funny how that. This one's always a crowd favorite too. So we raise scrambled egg chickens, which you just saw, and then we raise chicken nugget chickens. This is how we raise chicken nugget chickens. Now, this will get moved today. You could tell everything, the way the vegetation is, everything will get moved today.
Right.
But this is how we do it. They get raised, sunshine, not detrimental sunshine, but sunshine on rising and setting, fresh air, grass. Normally at this stage, we'll actually move it like every day or every 2 days. But just delicious chicken.
Absolutely. Very cool.
And I always say, like, look, okay, so this is the heaviest the manure load will get, right? And it's like you could still breathe in here. It's not like crazy. And then the day that you move it, you can't even smell anything. It's just a better way to raise chickens.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And so about how many would you say?
This is
here?
about 400 broilers. Wow. Yes. Now this is rated for 1,000. 1,000 doesn't look bad in here whenever they're little, but once they get bigger, I really don't like the way 1,000 looks in here.
Yeah.
And so I think that 500 to 600 bird is our sweet spot in this specific one. Now, we would love to go ahead and add 2 or 3 more of these.
Yeah. And so do these, do y'all process these yourself?
We don't process them ourselves. We are good at a few different things, but we decided a long time ago, let's be good at the things we're good at, and let's let someone else do the things we're not good at. And so we use a USDA processor, so like there's no, like, it wasn't done right, there's feathers in the meat, there's nothing like that. We could sell it anywhere because it's USDA inspected. Well, that gives us the opportunity to focus on how we raise them.
Perfect.
And so
they're processed and then brought back to the store.
And then brought back to the store, yep. Automatic feeders, all powered through a solar panel, gravity fed or pressurized waterers, whichever one we want. Lights that come on at night. Sidewalls up and down based on temperature and moisture. So if it's raining real bad, they'll close.
Sure.
Just a really, really good way to raise chickens.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's great.
So we're going to head to the Christmas tree farm.
Ooh.
We call it the Christmas tree farm because that's what it's best known for. But we have muscadines planted there. We have the new fig orchard. We have our pigs. It's a very, very fun farm to be at.
No wonder you are so busy.
Going back to something I said earlier about, like, the key to success for a small family farm is diversification. We have a bad strawberry year, we lean on fall festival. We have a bad fall festival, we lean on Christmas trees. We have bad Christmas tree season, well, let's sell chicken and bacon and eggs and pies. And,
Yes.
is it a lot to manage? Yes, of course. But I mean, if you're not like a little stressed all the time, is
You're
life
probably
worth
not
it?
doing something right. So then how do you manage it? What would a typical day look like for you? Are you just all over the place?
Jesus spends a lot of time with me, and he's grown to see that no 2 days are the same. Every day is just completely different. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I mentioned earlier I worked at a municipality while I was in college, and don't get me wrong, I loved it and it was rewarding, but I wasn't passionate about it.
Right.
And I think that plays a big part in it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Had the opportunity to run a nonprofit farm before I came back to the family farm. And it kind of the same thing, like I really did love it. Unfortunately our grant ran out and all that,
Right.
but when something isn't yours and you can't make 100% of the decisions that you believe are the right direction or the right revenue stream or what have you, sometimes it can rob that passion.
Sure.
And so I think, just like being an extension agent, I think there's a lot to be said for AgriLife saying, these are your programs.
Yes.
Run them how you see fit.
Yes, that's fair. That is very true. And I feel like, I am a former teacher, and I was an elementary school teacher. And so between that knowledge and my horticulture knowledge, kind of just makes a perfect fit to be an extension agent and be able to teach people how to garden and grow trees and all that good stuff.
I love it.
I enjoy, using some creativity in my programs. I don't think anybody had ever done anything like a strawberry jamboree before, so that's something neat.
And I was at the first one.
Yes.
Like, people are pumped.
Yeah, I was shocked when we put the event on Facebook and so many people were interested in it, and I thought, oh gosh, we better step it up. We've got lots of people interested. Who knew?
That's right, because when y'all first published it, it was going to be at your office, I believe, right?
Yes.
And then you had to move it to the
Klutz Event Center.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep, yeah. I remember that. It was myself and
Dr. Wallace.
Dr. Wallace, who's like not only a mentor, but became a really nice friend. Even after his retirement, him and I still stay in touch.
Good, good.
But yeah, and I remember coming in and saying, there's a lot of people here excited about strawberries.
Yes, they were. And that makes, all the effort and preparation worthwhile.
That's right.
When you're meeting the needs of the community and teaching something that they're interested in.
Doing these farm tours, I think, is the same idea for me. Like, I think even though we love it and we're passionate about it, there are definitely days where we get numb to this.
Sure.
Okay, we got to move sheep today. Let's go out and get it done. Or we got to pick strawberries today. Let's just go out and get it done. And I think, like, just being able to be out in the field and just talk shop and just show what we do, it's rejuvenating.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, this is
why I got into this. Exactly. Yes, I couldn't agree more. It really is. I love my job. I mean, but I get to travel some different parts of the state for professional development, get to meet other horticulture agents, get to meet a big chunk of the public, and share what I'm passionate about. So it's a pretty cool job.
I went to TNLA a couple years back, the TNLA conference, and ended up just spending some time with Vikram and a few other horticulture agents. We went out to dinner and things like that. And I quickly realized that all the hort agents, it's a pretty tight-knit group.
It really is,
Yeah.
because AgriLife Extension has extension offices in all 252 of the 254 counties in Texas, but not everybody has a horticulture agent. Those of us that are hort agents, kind of few and far between.
Sure.
There's, oh gosh, 25 to 30 of us.
I see.
And usually in the bigger counties.
Sure.
But the AgriLife Extension, whether it's a one agent county or you've got 7 agents like we do, really tries to provide as much as we can for the community, well-rounded, good foundational sense of learning and education.
I love it. So, welcome to my favorite farm. Right, this is the 3rd farm essentially that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Christmas tree farm. Of course, like the sign and stuff right now isn't maintained, but that's okay, right?
Ho ho ho!
Ho ho ho! So, of course, we don't raise firs or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? Spruces. We raise cypress.
Right.
Now we can, this, we can raise pines. Not a big fan of the pines as Christmas trees.
No.
But these cypress do a really good job, we feel like. Now we're going to see several areas here, and it's funny because, in my opinion, it is the most valuable lesson that I've ever gotten on pH. And truth be told, do you know Mr. Rhodes? He is a biology professor at Alvin College, but he was a city councilman and parks board member for Alvin for a very long time. He was my biology professor.
Oh.
And I cornered him one time after class and I said, I need you to explain pH to me, and I need you to do it in a way that I'll get.
Yes.
And he said, okay, let's start at the basics. Why is the P little and the H big? I never thought about that. He said, because H stands for hydrogen and P stands for potential. And after that, my mind fully grasped what pH actually was and how it could influence cation exchange, thus influence the life and death of our plants. And so what you see here is an area where the pH has a hard line where it changes. So you see where the trees, where there's not an empty area here, and that line is almost a straight line all the way across here.
Right.
Where the trees are those trees down there at the end were planted at the same time as these trees.
Wow.
When we run the pH here, it's at like a 7.9, which these cypress trees like to be at like a 6.8, just a little bit on the acidics, just a little bit. Most people would consider it near perfect.
Yeah.
And this soil is extremely alkaline. And we've seen that before in areas called Mima mounds, like little alkaline areas that were out on the Gulf Coast prairie that were their own little microhabitats. They found completely different plants growing in those. And we believe that this area was one, and then it just kind of got spread out right here. And it is really hard to fix.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
And it's just crazy because it's a hard line. It is a hard line.
And how long have you had this property here?
This is our 4th year of so I think we could fix it.
Yeah.
But it's not a quick thing.
Yeah. Do you know what was here before? Was it just
like
land?
cows and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably you could see it hasn't affected the grass much. And some of these grasses have just a bigger tolerance for that. Cypress trees apparently do not. But you can see like the tree, they get better,
Yes.
they get bigger, they get fuller. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The one type of horticulture that we don't raise for food. So one of my favorite philosophical horticulture lines, when my very first day with a Texas Tech class, and you take Hort 101 or whatever it is, and the teacher says, let's define horticulture. And so everybody goes through, and she says, here's the best definition I got. Horticulture is the science of growing food for the body and or the soul. And I said, okay, I get it.
I like that.
I get it. And so these would be considered food for the soul.
Absolutely.
Flowers,
Yes.
food for the soul, right? Just
Absolutely.
pretty to look at, makes you feel good.
Yes, absolutely.
And I said, dang, that's a pretty dang good definition.
Yes, absolutely. You could like charge people to come in and just sit and
And just
be
sit,
calm
that's right.
and yep. It really is. Even when you think about, houseplants in your house, you walk in and they're not only good for the air, purifying the air, but they're pretty to look at.
That's right.
There's like this sense of calm.
That's right.
And it's just good for your anxiety and stress levels.
Absolutely.
Apparently there's all kinds of studies that have been done and maybe still going on about plants and how, they're good for your mental health.
That's right. Therapeutic. New fig orchard.
Ooh, nice.
So we've had a cover crop on this for 3 seasons. So we did everything from rye and oats and barley to vetch and anything you can think of. We did it here, and this is heavy clay here.
Yeah.
And so we tried to do that to just really improve the soil structure. And we have found that, like, with that clay, well, you know this, like, just as much organic matter as possible.
Yes, absolutely. Compost for the win.
That's right.
Yep. Good stuff.
And so figs, and then here's that break I was talking about. We have this empty row. This is where we'll put, citrus or what have you.
Right.
Now we will come back and mulch these. We just want to get some height to them first. And then we have another class here.
Yeah. No, that's smart. I like that.
And then we have a good 30 more rows here that we have yet to plant. And then here's the next break. We'll put another whatever we decide. And excited about it.
Yeah, it should be. It's, very cool.
It goes back to that, I think for operations like ours, especially with like an unsure workforce and, ever-changing market and all of these things, that these perennials are the real end goal to sustainability.
Yes. Yeah.
If all I got to do is prune and irrigate through most of the year, I could figure out a way to get them picked.
Yes.
If it was just me.
Yeah. Definitely. So what else? I obviously, pick your own strawberries are huge.
Yep.
That's a big favorite. Have you gotten requests for, citrus or
Yes.
black? Yes.
Sure. So of course we do the blackberries.
Yeah.
Citrus, figs. You name it. Apples, of course.
Yeah.
We don't get the chill hours for any real commercial variety.
Right.
And then the varieties that we do have, they just wouldn't be worth it for you pick. At least not yet.
Yeah.
I hope they work on that. But so all of the above.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say is that the requests haven't gotten so great that I'm going to go plant an orchard to do that.
Yeah.
And then we are just so landlocked. It's hard enough to get people to come over here for Christmas trees. And then like having to have people come over here to pick citrus or what have you. It'd be hard.
Yeah.
It'd be hard.
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
We, say it all the time. I wish all 250 acres was a square 250 acres right where the store is.
Yes.
Because it'd be game on.
That'd be nice.
But we do the best we can.
Sure. I completely get it.
Sometimes I wonder though, do we get so creative and work so hard because we don't have that? Would that spoil us? Having everything right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you have any other just like ideas that are floating around in your head of things you want to do? Or you?
We got to turn that camera
I
off.
know.
No,
You probably.
So
I won't tell anybody.
Yeah. Here's my wife and I's goal for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
My uncle just retired almost a year ago and turned the reins over to myself and Mrs. Froberg. And so we've certainly added things. The meat production is a big thing that we've added, but there's a lot of value in getting good.
Yeah. No.
in mastery. And, I planted these muscadines too. That was a big thing. But we've added quite a few things in the last couple of years. And so with taking over ownership, I think it's just like, Christy and I gotta master everything.
Sure. Okay. Absolutely. Get good at it.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is the goal. There might be a few small things here and there, but it won't be anything big. It'll just be getting really, really good at what we do.
Yeah, no, I think that's smart, and I think that's the way to do it. Absolutely. And just, as on my end as a horticulture agent, I've learned from that, because last year I took on too much and tried to do too many programs, and not everything was as successful or well attended as I wanted it to be. So this year I've scaled back a little bit, learned my lesson, and just going to do what I know how to do and do it really well. So I completely agree. We're in the same boat there.
There is so much value in A, recognizing that, and then B, executing that.
Yes, exactly. Because, I was telling Alfred earlier that, of course, this will be the third annual Strawberry Jamboree, and we're doing it at the AgriLife office, and so we'll be a little snug in there, but that's okay. But next year, the Brazoria County Fairgrounds have offered the auditorium.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
we'll really be able to go big.
Plenty of room,
plenty
of parking.
room. Yes, plenty of parking. Lots of room for vendors and exhibitors and people to walk around it.
So, muscadines. Some people turn their nose up to them. Some people get excited about it. Yeah, this is the second season for these. These vines are 2 years old. The vines we pass on the front are a year old.
Okay.
And I think most grape growers, when they see this, would not anticipate this vine only being 2 years old. So first of all, they're so vigorous. It's amazing. Now we are at the end of the season.
Right.
We picked yesterday, probably for the final time. Not a lot of fruit left in here. Some of these varieties will do this. So we prune these 3 times, right after fruit set, once during harvest, and then once during dormancy. And sometimes right after they set fruit, when we prune them, they will bloom again and they'll set more fruit. Probably not going to be a lot of value for us, but for the home gardener,
absolutely.
I would be pumped to walk out to the garden and see that,
Exactly, yes, I would too.
But this is the tail end of it. We had an incredible, these vines,
Good.
this was like this. I mean, these vines were loaded.
That's awesome.
I haven't seen a ton of research or other people talking about pruning them during the season, but we weren't able to mow in here during that. And so that's when we started going through and literally no rhyme or reason, not like a dormancy pruning. We were coming here and just hedging them.
Oh, wow.
Just so we could mow, because they were growing into each other. And then last year during the hurricane, they were just big parachutes. And so I was like, in case there's a hurricane too, let's chop everything off. And I should say it had no effect on the fruit. It only made maintenance easier, so we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, it looks like it's worked well for you, and that's a good problem to have,
It is just
it's
massive
producing too much.
plants.
Yes. Beautiful. Very nice. And so you turn this into muscadine jelly, or
we mainly do
preserves?
jelly. We do sell some fresh. We've gotten a customer base that really just enjoys eating them just off the vine. These are all hybrids.
Yeah.
They're improved varieties. They're delicious. And so we do a lot of jelly though, a ton of jelly. Last year we did bottled juice as well. Not a big fan of that.
Okay.
I don't think we have the right equipment to do it. But the jelly for sure is an all-time favorite. AC in the store felt good.
Yes, it did. That was nice.
So, of course, we as horticulturalists like to think that the fruit and vegetables are the star of the show, but ultimately the agritourism is and always will be the star of the show. And it's how we get to still do what we do.
Yeah, bring those people in.
That's right. And so, we do multiple events throughout the year. Strawberry Festival, Watermelon Festival, Fall Festival. We talked about the Christmas trees over there. So we're in the middle of getting ready for our Fall Festival, which means that we have a corn maze out here. Not quite a maze yet, but you're going to get a sneak peek into how we do it.
Perfect. I've always wanted to know.
Yes.
Now, do you ever get people lost in the corn maze? Does that happen?
Do we ever? So we put on our maps, do not call 911 if lost. And then we put the store number. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I have normally a high school student that, 2 days before we open, I give him the map, tell him, and he spends all day out there learning it. And then this year's going to be tough because there's 2 points on the maze where if you take the wrong turn, you will go deep.
Uh-oh.
And it will take you a minute to figure out how to get out. Even with the map, like it's going to be pretty easy to get turned around on this one, which is so much fun.
Yes, that is fun. So I know your next piece of technology will probably have to be a drone then.
Yeah,
Put
that's
a drone
right.
out here to
That's
track
right.
down your missing customers.
Yes. So what'll happen is they'll call the store, and then I radio that high school kid, and I'm like, hey, this is their description. We told them to just stay in one spot, don't move. And then he'll take them some water and whatever. So we have the entry and the exit here. And so what we'll do is, as more than likely today, we just gave them a little shot of water. Mm-hmm. We'll turn the water off. We'll let it get just dry enough, and then we'll bring a mower in here, and we'll just follow the lines and mow it out. And then we'll just keep mowing it until, the corn eventually dies in its spot. And then we'll be ready to go.
Very cool.
Always an exciting time.
And so is it a new maze every year?
It's a new maze every year. And so last year we started a theme. And so we asked ourselves, how do we reinvent the fall festival, right? It's over 10 years old now. And don't get me wrong, it's always exciting, but the strawberries are the star of the show. It doesn't need a theme, but fall festival, we wanted to add a theme.
Yeah.
So last year we did Jurassic Fall. Mm-hmm. It was cool. We had the dinosaurs, dinosaur corn maze. This year it's Fall on the Farm, which I know what you're thinking, isn't every year, but this is cows and denim and bandana.
Yes.
And all. So it's a cow and a tractor and a chicken all on the maze. And it's pretty cool.
Very
it's exciting.
Cool.
We tailor to kiddos.
Yeah.
So we don't do scary. We don't do, we do fun, family. Yeah. Honestly, corn's a little ahead of where it should be. I think my flowers are a little bit behind and the corn is a little bit ahead. So give and take,
Can't control Mother Nature,
it's
right?
all,
Yeah.
It's all based on what, can we get in the field? Is it raining? What's it doing? But that's the corn maze.
Very cool. Are you the one that plans it out? Do you?
So I have a cousin who's an engineer and super savvy on CAD and mapping software and all that. And so we give him the theme and he draws it out, and then he'll come out and paint the lines, and then we can go and cut it out. So he uses it's a super, super sensitive GPS that tells you to the inch where you are.
Impressive. Very nice.
There are also services that you could hire to do it.
Yeah.
We're just
but
lucky.
When you have a cousin that
Yeah. I got a cousin for everything. Yeah, that's the deal. We'll get pumpkins the week after next and get those starting to be laid out, and we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to go.
Very exciting. Yeah, I bet the kids love it. Do you know about how many people you kind of run through here?
So we know exactly how many. It's normally around 100,000 people.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And so, it's like a bell curve almost. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of starts off slow. Then middle of October is at an all-time high. And then as we hit the last 2 weeks of November, it goes down a little bit. Didn't count the field trips during the fall festival. We also do field trips. That's on a separate count. Mm-hmm. We do field trips during the strawberry season too, and then during Christmas trees as well. And there's always an education point to it. We follow the teaks for whatever that would be. And it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I bet the kids love it.
This was fun. So I'm really glad that you came for the month of August, because August is definitely a stale time on the farm. And it was just super nice to talk shop, and then of course learn more about what y'all do at Extension. And so if someone, whether they were in Brazoria County or just in Texas, and then let's say the United States too, how does each one of those three people find out about their specific extension?
So we've got lots of ways that they can do that. Of course, you know, most people are on social media. I've got a Facebook page, Brazoria County Horticulture, and Instagram. We've also got a website that they can go to. Just Google Brazoria AgriLife, and they will certainly find that. And you can also, you know, look up the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension website. You can search on by county. So let's say you're trying to find some horticulture information for grandma who lives in Harris County. You can definitely find your ag agent and your horticulture agent for that particular area. So online is the way to go. You can also call the ag office or email me as well. My email box stays full,
I'm
so
sure it
please send an email or call, and that's a big part of my job, is to answer questions for people that have questions. Trees, turf, and tomatoes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, y'all don't forget to go follow Kim and all of her programs, AgriLife, all the good stuff. If you're outside of Texas, I guess you just Google whatever your state is.
Yeah.
And then extension agent, and they can get
Yes.
your questions answered, I would assume.
Definitely.
This was the August 2025 Farm Tour. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you think you know who's going to be our guests for the next Farm Tour for September, leave it in the comments, and we'll see y'all then.